done. Happy days.
Easy, bro. Let me know if you need me.
Easy. Later, bro.
Later.
Hey, hey.
Hey man, how are you?
Good, good yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. What did you train today?
I had a bit of chest and back.
Oh, I do a combination of chest to back.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
been doing
That
that
was,
your whole prep?
yeah, probably 12 weeks now.
Yep.
Same program. Don't need to change anything, honestly. Like it's been so repetitive, like the last, say, 6 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's just like working, so no point changing shit.
Yeah, there's no point changing. I think, it's always a real big thing. It's starting to change lately, but that whole misconception of, I got to change my training every 4 to 6 weeks, where it's like
Yeah.
not necessarily going to really progress doing that.
No. Same food, same training, just progressive overload in both, I
That's
guess.
good. Seems like so far kind of, I guess, smooth sailing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So is this your first prep or?
Um, First actual prep. So I did ICN comp probably just before COVID, like 2020, that season
Okay.
eight.
Yep.
I didn't take that too serious at all. Like it was pretty bad. It was like smashing palmers and beers, like maybe a month or two out.
Wow.
Yeah, nah, I didn't take it too serious at all. But this time it's a whole new ball game,
Yeah, yeah.
especially with Matt in my corner still, like just dialing it all in.
Were you with Matt with the first show or?
Yeah, I was still with him, but it was more so like just all on me kind of thing.
Okay.
Like I just
He was
wasn't.
kind of like guiding you a little bit, but you were just kind of bringing yourself to stage.
Yeah, and I wasn't really listening too much back then, like just
Yeah.
being naive.
So I guess that's interesting to hear. So I kind of want to understand what was the reason for competing, I guess then, if you were, did you feel like you were going to be able to give 100%, or was it just something that kind of happened?
Probably just kind of happened. So like I came from a swimming and basketball background,
Yep.
and then I ruptured my ACL and kind of was like a bit lost.
Mhm.
I just said stuff it and why not compete first time, and then fell in love with it from there.
Okay, okay. So yeah, that standard, just give it a go. Why not? You got nothing else to do, and then you fall
Yeah,
in love with that process.
yeah, 100%. Like I had no idea about bodybuilding back then, like
Yeah.
at all. Didn't know anyone. Like the only person I knew really was Matt because I
Yeah.
played basketball with him back then as well.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's basically how we crossed paths, and then just stumbled upon that.
History from there.
Yeah,
So that means okay, so Matt kind of introduced you into it. And when you knew Matt, I guess, so you watched him kind of, I guess, get to where he was, winning his pro card, getting into bodybuilding. So when you knew him, you kind of knew him before he was all, in that bodybuilding space?
yeah, absolutely. So it was probably his transition into it,
Yeah.
from basketball to that, and then the last like since probably 2020, I've been to almost most of his shows. Flew up to Brizzy as well, watch his national show, which was great. Gives a good like visual on what to expect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because that ICN is it's different, but it's not, it's still the same process. You got to get lean, you got to do a thing. But I guess the way the shows are run are definitely a lot different, and the caliber of athletes, compared to ICN and IFB are different. So at least I guess you've been to shows, kind of what it's about. You have Matt who has that experience, so it's not like you're kind of walking in a bit blind.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so how long has this prep been? Has it been a 24-week, 16-week?
We started. So we did like a 4 week like mini cut,
Yep.
um, November through December, and then had about like a week or two off where we'll just like if you want to eat whatever with family, but myself I just stuck to it the whole way through. So probably say like 18 weeks,
Okay.
until the big show, and then yeah the extra 4 weeks for nationals.
So how did your last off season, I guess, or building phase kind of go? What was like the heaviest weight you got up to? I guess your body fat wasn't too high, seeing though he only wanted you to do a 4 week mini recomp. So
Yeah, so I think I got to 106 last off season, and that was pushing like quite a bit of food. I think it was about 5K at one point, which
yeah.
was a lot for me, especially back then. And that was all mainly like through last year and a little bit of the year before,
Mhm.
just because of COVID and everything. Just couldn't actually focus on it too much. But yeah, got up to 106, and then me being like me and Matt knowing my body already, we just dropped super quick. Like I'm already down almost 15 kilos in what 14 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're would you say you're a hard gainer and a quick loser?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So I guess being more of your stricter prep in comparison to, the ICN one, and working a lot more closely with Matt, I guess kind of just run me through uh what I guess the differences have been, or what has been the most interesting learning experiences, making sure to always be like 110%.
Yeah, probably it's definitely mindset like this time around. Like I was saying before, just completely dialed in. Like Matt's set basically everything that I need to hit, but I'm doing the extra one percenters that I
Yeah.
know is going to make the difference this time around. And like last time is just yeah, it was a bit of a mess around. But this time it's just serious. Like I'm going like 100% all in, especially having the missus now as well. She's helping with everything. Like she's cooking some rice and chicken for me as we speak.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
So is she an athlete? Like, does she compete as well? Has she competed?
No, so she's never competed. She never really knew much about bodybuilding before like we got together 2.5 years ago. So she trained here and there, and then slowly, she's just falling in love with the whole thing, like basically I did.
Yeah.
And her main goal is to get on stage next year, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that's cool. I guess in that way, she's also kind of learning their experience with you while you're going through it. So then she can kind of, I guess, know what to expect when she goes to it. But then you've also been through it, so then you can support her. Like it's a good way that you guys can learn how to support each other. And that classic saying is, if you can survive a prep together, you're gonna last.
Yeah, exactly. And like the goal is next year we're probably going to compete in the same show, so
Oh, okay,
that'll
cool,
be
cool,
really
cool.
interesting.
That'd be exciting.
Yeah.
So what classes are you doing?
I'm going to do first time as classic,
Yep.
novice, and open.
Novice and open in a classic,
And
or
classic, yeah.
yeah. So you're a classic physique.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, is that only due to, I guess, size being an issue and you're not wanting to join the open, or you just feel that your physique or your love for the sport is in classic?
Yeah, mainly like it's in classic.
Yeah.
Just the whole posing, the art of it, just creating that sculpted physique of like, the broad look, and just hitting those poses like
Yeah.
nail it.
You've chosen the right person to be a coach. Our latest
Yeah,
classic pro, and he's got incredible stage presence, incredible.
for sure. His charisma just it's
Yeah,
bringing out of me living with him, kind of thing. Like he's just bringing so much more out of me, like every day.
it's good.
Yeah,
Like that importance of having a tight knit circle, but people that are going to help you level up,
yeah,
getting
exactly.
the best out of you.
Yeah, like we've got Dean competing as well, who we both work with,
Yep.
close mate. So he's going to do classic the exact same as me. We're basically same height as well.
Oh, so
Um,
you'll be on the same stage together competing?
yeah.
Oh, that's sick,
So
as.
that's going to be very interesting. Like
Yeah.
two good mates, very similar structures. One just holds a bit more fluff than the other, and one can stay fuller. So
Okay.
he's
That'd be
definitely the
cool.
fuller one than the two of us.
Yeah.
But it'll be a good little showdown between us.
Yeah, like that's I guess another positive of or a highlight for you going into the show. You're not just giving it a go, and you're also getting the worth of putting that 110% compared to the ICN show. But now you're going on stage with a friend,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
not
exactly.
even um competing in different categories, but like the exact same. So that's
Yeah.
really sometimes you compete with your friends, but you end up being a different weight class or something like that. But no, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be really like really good.
What I guess what has Matt's biggest, I guess, focus for you this prep? What has he kind of wanted you the most? Has it been like more nutrition or a certain type of training?
Um, Nothing too complicated really. Like he's kept it simple, and it just seems to be working. We'll adjust macros here and there. Like he's only got me on macros, which is really good.
Yeah.
Only because I've learned what reacts with my body the
Yeah.
most this past year. Um, but yeah, simple, just macros, probably adjusting every couple of weeks when I'm just hitting that little plateau. And just now, like we've hit 2.5K cals, 6 weeks out. So getting interesting.
Yeah, I wonder, do you think that you may have to go a bit lower than that, or?
Oh, definitely. Like my like rest days, I'm only on 150 carbs from memory.
Oh
Uh,
wow. Okay.
yeah, and that changed like this week. So,
Yeah.
but my refeeds are at 500 grams. So we're kind
Oh,
of
okay, so it's not too bad.
yeah.
How often are you having refeeds?
Just every quad day.
Oh, okay, so just to give the focus on your legs.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'll get really stringy real quick.
Yeah.
And so he just wants to kind of keep me a bit fuller leading into show, and then bring me right back, and then just fill me up.
Yeah, so you're kind of approaching it with, I guess, the big show, I guess, in some way being a bit of a tester to just kind of see how your body reacts in that peak week and then on show day. So then you can kind of nail it for nationals.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything, I guess, that you're worried about going into the show? Has there been anything like you may miss your peak, or you're just kind of very confident in what you and Matt have going on?
I'm pretty confident, but it's always playing in the back of my mind how flat I get.
Yeah.
Because I wake up most mornings and I'll just look at myself. I'm like, I'm fucking flat. Like it gets pretty bad, but then after that refeed, just straight back up.
Yeah. So
So
that's good. So at least you kind of are getting that visual aid in knowing that, okay, I feel like shit, I'm flat, it's tricking your mind, but then you have that refeed and then you're going, oh wait, hold up a minute, like, look at me
yeah,
now, it's working. So I guess you're good in that case where some people may not have that effect and they kind of get trapped in that thought.
yeah, definitely. No, it's been real good, especially like I was saying, living with him, he just sees all the little things, so he can just change it whenever he needs to. And most people don't really get the privilege of that. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
get one or two contacts with their coach a week, whereas me, basically every single day.
definitely a huge benefit.
Oh yeah,
It's I think I was talking to another guy that goes to my gym, and we were kind of talking about that coach and athlete relationship, and he was saying like sometimes, as much as a coach is really important, but if you've been in the sport a long time, sometimes having a training partner or someone who's always there with you can even be more important than a coach, because like your coach is not all, if it's online, like they're not always with you, they're not always seeing anything, they're not in the gym with you, they're not watching your body change daily from what you're eating, and that we're that training partner. And so you kind of got that good mixture where you have your coach and he's with you kind of all the time.
definitely. And like we kind of treat each other like brothers anyway. So like he's like my older brother to me. So last night we're up until like 12 o'clock playing 2K,
Oh yeah.
Kind of good getting that mixture of like strictness being his coach, but then we're like best mates.
Yeah, I think that's important. It really builds a healthy relationship. It's just like anything, even with a relationship, you want your partner to be a partner, but you also want her to be your best friend.
Exactly.
That's really exciting. That's cool. What, I guess, have you gone through any road bumps or challenges so far in regards to maybe, like you're saying, that struggling with the mindset, or, how have you been dealing with the low calories so far?
Honestly, like not as much as I thought I would have. Yeah, like there'll probably be times where I'm on the treadmill or on the bike and I'm just like can't be stuck doing cardio, but it's just that change of mindset now where I'm like, all right, I'll do an extra 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I have that thought, I'll just like put in a bit extra work.
Is that something that Matt's being mindful of, that, because I think sometimes it's a good thing to have, but sometimes that can also backfire, because then you can end up pushing yourself a bit too far. So is that something you're kind of monitoring, or he's monitoring with your physique and check-ins and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'd say so. Because he's aware of where I'm at like mentally now, in terms of like how much I'm putting in. So he'll kind of bring me back a little bit as well, which is really good. Like today, like he kind of wants me doing 45 minutes cardio every day and 15K steps.
Okay, yeah.
If you're not hitting your step target, just do a little bit extra cardio. So just keep the output up, really. So he's pretty flexible like that. Changing wise, not much.
Okay, that's all right then.
Yeah.
How much, I guess, outside of maybe the output and, I guess, the lower food, how similar has the prep been, I guess, to the off season? Because you're saying, Matt's kind of kept everything very linear, you haven't really changed your training at all. So has it just kind of been just the standard old, okay, we're just going to increase your output and we're just going to lower your food?
Pretty much, honestly. Like he's kept it so simple. And it seems to be working. So like, yeah, like I was saying, dropped from 106 down to 91 already.
That's fantastic. It's nothing better than, I guess, it really sounds like you've got a super smooth prep going, like, especially for, I guess, switching from being, not really putting 100% focus into going, I'm going to put 100% focus in, but you haven't had to, I guess, necessarily push harder than, someone who's maybe the first time and they haven't really experienced this type of thing before.
Yeah. So like, I kind of feel like it is still my first prep, in a sense, purely because of how I took the last one. Like I'm still learning so much. Like me and the missus, we're still learning so much together through this as well, which has probably been like one of the biggest struggles. Because there'll be times where I'm just like mentally exhausted. She'll come home from work and be like so excited, and I'm just like, quiet, But apart from that, we're both learning. I'm learning as well. And it's kind of been a breeze so far, but 6 weeks out, I'm sure that'll change.
Yeah, so you're currently 8, hey? No, 7.
6.5, I think.
Yeah.
So it'll be
so 7 on Sunday. Yeah. Do you know anybody else apart from your friend who's doing classic first timers? Like, have you been paying attention to the competition? Have you been looking out for any other competitors, or you just kind of focused on you and what Matt's going to help you bring in your friend?
Matt's got one other client doing classic.
Yeah.
So Marcus O'Brien, he's looking fantastic at the moment. Yeah. Probably going to be in different categories just from height. But apart from that, I haven't really been paying attention to it. I just want to put it all in on myself, focus on myself. Like I'll flick through your stories and I'll be like, everyone's looking great, but I'm not too focused on what everyone's like, except for myself this time around. Because I know I'm not going to have the size on stage, but it's the posing, the presence, the conditioning that I want to bring in.
I think it's just one of those things though. Like if you don't have the size and you focus on, like you're saying, the conditioning, the presence, owning that stage, they're the most valuable experiences and strengths that you can build, because the size just comes in time and the muscle maturity comes in time. So the quicker that you can learn those other 3 and nail those other 3, by the time you have the size, it's just a cakewalk then.
Literally. Like that's what Matt's probably been drilling into me the most. Like just give it a couple more years.
Yeah.
Then you'll actually have that size, that thickness, that dense look. Whereas now it's a bit there, but there's more to come.
Yeah.
So I think my weight cutoff is, 103 or 104 or something ridiculous.
Okay.
91. So
yeah. So what weight do you think you'll cut down to? Like low 80s?
Probably mid 80s.
Mid 80s? That's still like a good 15 kilos you could put on to reach that upper end of that. That's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Room to grow.
And like seeing a few of the other guys like turn pro recently, like Brandon Harding, for instance, he was well under his weight cap in classic.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives like hope for us taller guys as well.
Definitely. Because that's always the fear of being tall and doing classic is, you really have to get that scale way higher to give that illusion of bigger muscle if you're not, a genetic freak with your muscle bellies. So that's good that you've kind of been able to find a loophole in that.
Yeah, definitely.
Being, I guess, your favorite part of the prep so far?
That's a great question, honestly.
But I think sometimes we focus too much on, prep's hard, or, here's this or that. And I think sometimes it's good to kind of, I guess, switch up and focus, because it's like you're saying, it's really a mental game over a physical.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are the positives?
Probably the change of lifestyle, honestly. Like I've just been more organized just with my day-to-day life, just getting everything sorted. Especially making the move here last week, it kind of forced me to, get everything done ASAP, especially with working, coming home, needing to get like, cardio in, cooking meals, everything. It's just been more structured. Whereas previously I wasn't really structured, and like in my off season, if I didn't have a meal prepared, I'll just go down to Red Rooster, But this time it's just made me more structured all around, and probably a better person as well, like learning how to control my emotions on low days as well. So it's been really interesting so far.
Do you think that you're going to be able to carry that on into, post-show, off-season? Because sometimes, that's what people talk about. It's like, I'm very happy with that structure, or I'm happy with the cardio. I'm going to keep the cardio in, and then like 6 weeks later, that's starting to fall off a bit.
Yeah, no, look, I'll tell myself that I'll probably do it. Whether it's going to happen or not, who knows?
Yeah.
I'll try to. Like, I'll try to stick some cardio in there. Whether it's like, playing basketball on a Monday night, like a domestic game, just to keep fitness up. But I have a feeling food might take a little bit of a hit after comp. So,
speaking of that, how do you find balancing, I guess, playing basketball and training? Because I used to play basketball a long time and I stopped and then started bodybuilding, and then my brother started playing and competing like I used to. So I was like, and so he wanted me to have a go with him and play and come to his training sessions. And I was fucked. Like, my calves from jumping, even like my forearms and biceps from shooting. So I'm like, maybe that's because I haven't done it in a long time. So I was just wondering, like, as you're saying, you play. So how do you kind of balance the fatigue, I guess?
Honestly, during prep, it's been so much easier. I played in my off season, and that was hard.
Yeah.
Like, just getting up and down the court, I was gassed, just like up and down once. Whereas now, like, I'm bouncy as again. Like, I'm playing like I used to play when I played professionally. So I actually feel good.
That's good.
It's not an issue.
Must be the weight thing then.
Yeah, must be the day after. Like, sore. But apart from that, like, it's been interesting. Everything's probably been great so far.
That's good. I guess you haven't really hit that low point. And like you're saying, you're almost at 6 weeks. So we might start to see that, maybe that 6 to 3 weeks, you kind of start feeling that hole, the prep hole.
Yeah, especially, we're going to start pulling some calories pretty soon, he was saying. Probably going to keep the output the same for the time being.
Yeah.
Until then, like, it's been.
So would you say that the goal is to bring that conditioning? That's kind of the main goal over anything else? Your focus is the conditioning?
Yeah, focus on conditioning and trying to stay as full as I can. Those are probably going to be the main two things. Everything else will probably fall into place, we're hoping. But again, it's prep. Anything can happen. So
just take it as it comes.
Literally, just take everything as it comes. And like seeing Matt through his last 2 preps and how his mental was, like every single day, he was just taking everything as it comes. And now living with him, I can kind of take that on board as well.
Yeah. You can learn a lot, especially like living with someone. You see all the ups and downs, all the little details. Yeah. What I guess, what's your current training split at the moment, if you don't mind sharing? So what has he got you training in prep? Because you said it's kind of been similar with what you were doing in the off season. So I'm just curious.
Off season was a typical push-pull legs.
Okay, yeah.
Now, so I've basically done my own program and just showed him like what I've been doing.
Yeah.
So it's push-pull legs, rest, chest and back, delts, arms, legs, rest. So it's like a 3-on, 1-off type.
Oh, okay. So it's not necessarily 5 sessions 1 week. It's a 3-on. Okay. Do you find that frequency of that 3-on, 1-off, and then doing the push-pull and then doing a chest and back, that's helped, I guess, you the most?
I'd say so, because this is like a new split that I just kind of wanted to try out. Recovery's been great as well, because like one day I'll focus more on delts than chest and hamstrings and quads, so it kind of allows me to recover while still keeping up that frequency.
When he had you doing push-pull legs, it was just push-pull legs, rest, and then push-pull legs? Was it the similar days off, 3-on, 1-off?
6 days straight.
6 days straight?
Yeah, and that kind of took a bit of a toll.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's take a step back, throw another rest day. So that's been really good.
Wait, it's the biggest thing. Like, I think some people can, I've talked to some people and they can handle the 6 days, and then just sometimes you just need to push back. Like, I remember there was a period where I had to train 4 days a week. I just couldn't even do 5. And then I've been able to go back to 5 now. It's been good. But trying to do 6, I feel like I'd be broken.
Man, it's murder. Like, I tried like a couple weeks ago just because like the schedule was getting a bit full on. I've got to train here, I've got to train there. And just so gassed. Like, you feel it session to session.
Especially in prep. Like, I couldn't imagine. It makes me like think back to when I first started training. And I think for the first year or so, you're in high school, you're fresh, you've never done anything like that, and you do like 6 days and you're just thrashing yourself.
You trained 7 days a week back then.
Yeah. it's wild. It's just funny to watch. Like, it really puts in perspective that saying of like, if you're not shown proper structure, and that, you know, if you train 6 or 7 days, you're actually not training hard enough, because then as time goes on and you find that groove, you get that strength, you start training properly, you're like, oh wow, I really can't train, you know, that
Oh,
six.
100%. Like you can feel it so much. I feel like as you get older as well, like you were just saying, like training 6, 7 days a week, and then you're like, oh, I've got to add an extra rest day. I feel like in a couple of years' time, there'll probably be like another rest day in there as well. So just kind of taking advantage of it right now.
Yeah.
Energy levels are a bit up. And then program wise as well, I don't know what Matt's going to be getting me to do in the next couple of weeks, whether it's like another rest day or, you know, an extra day of like chest or whatever I need to kind of focus on.
Just see how the body kind of rolls, and the fatigue with the drop of cows, and remove all this kind of stress in the body.
Yep, definitely.
What has been, sorry, just a minute, I need a glass of water.
Oh, good.
I got the fan going here and I can just feel my throat getting parched. I'm like, oh fuck, wait.
Yeah. No, at least you got a fan up here. It's so hot.
But you got no fan in there.
There's no fan. There's no aircon. It's just it feels like a pressure cooker up here.
Just a box.
Literally.
That sucks, especially with how the weather's been lately. It's been so hot.
Yeah, it's pretty warm in Melbourne right now too. So I think it's like 30-something degrees.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So have you been handling, I guess, your low days and your rest days and the low food, and not being, I guess, having that break of, you know, our focus is kind of, you know, the gym, and that's kind of the highlight. Have you found, I guess, something that you're able to zone out in, you know, your downtime? Have you, whether, I guess, time with your partner, whether it's TV, or I guess, is it just time with Matt?
Yeah, it's probably a mixture of things. So like yesterday I had a low day, and that was like the lowest. So that's when we first dropped to 150 grams of carbs. I thought I was going to struggle.
Yeah.
But I kind of just fasted the first half a day, did a bit of cardio, ate a meal, went into the gym, did the rest of my cardio, posed a bit, kind of just wasting time to get my mind off it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll come home and just chill, play a bit of video games, do some housework. And then if I'm working on the day, it kind of takes my mind off it again.
Yeah. Well, what do you do for work?
So I just work in Nutrition Warehouse at the moment.
Oh, so the best job.
Literally. You can literally get your meals in whenever you want in your off season. And even now, like if I want to go do cardio, the manager's just like, yeah, sweet, just go for it. Right next door to Derrimut as well. So it's perfect.
That's awesome. That's so good. And I always like feel for the people, like my friend who's competed. Yeah, he's a tradie, and it's just like, that's gotta fucking suck. Like, you know, he's always his first prep. I remember he went all the way through to peak week and then had peak week off. But this year he was like, nah, fuck that. And I think he had like the last 3 weeks of prep off. He was like, I just needed to.
Yeah, because it affects the mental a lot. Like you're just so fatigued, so groggy, like you don't know what's going on. Like I've had a few moments when I'm cashing up and I've like taken an extra $20 off, and I'm like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like you just can't count properly, can't do much.
I remember one time he was telling me, he's like, because he installs glass and stuff, and in houses, around pools, whatever. And he was saying they were carrying like I don't know, there's 3 of them, and it was like a 20-kilo glass or something up some stairs. And like normally, like it's piss easy. Sometimes they do it with 2 people, but he was that fucked. He's on the end of it, and he's like, guys, I think I'm gonna drop it. Like we're gonna have to like stop mid staircase. And like, what's going on? You're normally the strongest here, because they're all like, you know, in their mid 40s and 50s. Then they're like, he's like, it's prep, I'm dying.
Literally, like you'll be good for the first 5 seconds, then you're done.
Yeah,
definitely takes a toll.
It's interesting. Like I wonder if it's the physical toll, or it's more like the fogginess of the brain, and you know, your brain slowing down, which then, you know, connects with your body. And so it's like, you know, your body kind of follows where your brain is.
True, very true.
I wonder if that's what then ends up making you feel so physically tired. I guess, you know, you're not fueling your body as much with food, but at the same time, like, you know, your body can still physically do a lot, even if you're starving and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting what that connection is with that, I guess, typical prep brain. It must be that fogginess.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely is. I reckon it'll be a little bit of both, but mainly more so the fogginess. Like just everything affects it.
Do you,
Um, yeah, like I was like today, half the shit I was doing, like I was telling it the missus like what I needed to eat, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me what I was eating. I'm like, it's just chicken and rice, you know?
yeah. You just like chicken, and then you're like, what's that thing that you have with the chicken?
Yeah.
Kind of describing, you're like rice. You're like, oh yeah, rice. That's funny. How so with the posing, and I know Matt's got a really good. He's always had a good posing routine. He's always been able to hold his pose as well. So has he kind of guided you through posing techniques, helping you with that, or have you been seeking inspiration from anybody else to do with posing?
Yeah, look, a little bit would have been from Matt, so he's definitely helped over the years. But I started posing probably a year and a half ago, like every single day.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I knew that I was going to jump on stage, and that's what my main focus needed to be.
Yeah.
So I really dialed in with that, at least spent 10, 20 minutes a day just focusing on that, especially vacuums as well. I couldn't vacuum for the life of me last
Yeah.
year. Now it's probably one of my strongest like poses.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that shows the importance of because, like you're saying, you want to make some you're posing because you are not bringing the size, so you want to be able to show that you have the confidence with the posing and the conditioning. So it's good that I guess you started a year back to really give yourself that head start. Then some people only just start at the beginning of prep or even in the middle of prep.
Like if I can give that illusion that I do look bigger, then that's job done.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, last question to kind of wrap everything up. What is, I guess, a piece of advice that you want to give to any other fellow competitors that are competing in season A, or anyone who's kind of starting to get ready to prep for season B? What would you like to share with them, or any listener, anyone who's just starting at the gym, anything?
Honestly, just take every day as it comes because every day is going to be different. You're going to have good days, bad days. Just take it as it comes and just look at the positives.
I like that.
Like that's all I've been doing. Like I'll self-reflect what I need to work on, all that kind of stuff as well. So it's just keeping on top of things and being consistent and allowing yourself to have those bad days.
Yeah. Do you journal with the self-reflection, or is it more just to sit down, embrace everything, look at how the day's been, and move forward?
Also sit down. I tried journaling, but that just wasn't for me. I couldn't put pen to paper.
Yeah.
Whereas if I just sit there and think, like I'll spend half an hour in the sauna every night. I'll meditate. I'll just bring my mind back to it and just kind of reflect.
Yeah. No, I like that. It's good. I think it's very important to reflect. No matter where you are in life, it can really help you progress and mentally, physically, in every aspect. And I like that. Taking each day as it comes. It's very important. It's like living in the moment. That's one of the best life advice I think you can ever apply to yourself is living in the moment.
100%.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, man. It's been a pleasure, and I'm really excited to see how your prep continues to progress and what you and Matt bring to the stage.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Have a great rest of the day, man.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers.